Have you ever caught a glimpse of yourself in the mirror and suddenly realized that the gray hairs now outnumber the black? Have you noticed that upon entering your 50s, simply turning over in bed last night is enough to make your lower back ache for the entire next day? A short walk down a supermarket aisle leaves your knees completely worn out. People often say that the age of 50 represents the transition over to the other side of life's mountain. Just as your career and children have finally stabilized, your body decides to activate its red alert status. But is this milestone of 50 truly as terrifying as a fading sunset? Or is it actually a second dawn, a fresh chapter for you to live vibrantly and wisely? But this time living for yourself. Welcome everyone. Whether you are standing on the threshold of your 50s or have parents entering this age group, as an expert who has accompanied thousands of individuals on their journey toward proactive healthcare, I want to emphasize a vital truth. 50 is not an abyss, it is a momentous biological turning point. From this age onward, the inside of our body is no longer a peaceful stream of youth. Instead, it is experiencing three fierce systemic silent storms. If we do not fully understand them, we will find ourselves empty-handed in the battle to protect our health. The first storm is a profound hormonal crisis. In women, this marks menopause, a time when the ovaries cease to function, and estrogen levels plummet drastically, resembling a building having its structural pillars removed. Estrogen is not merely a hormone that helps women maintain their beauty. It is the primary shield that protects the cardiovascular system, retains calcium in the bones, and regulates the entire central nervous system. In men, the process of andropause occurs more covertly, but is no less hazardous. Testosterone levels decline continuously year after year, causing muscle mass to wither away, visceral fat to accumulate around the abdomen, and the mind to become easily fatigued and melancholic. The second storm is the aging and stiffening of the vascular system. Imagine your blood vessels at 20 as a brand new rubber hose, exceptionally soft and elastic under the pressure of blood flow. By 50, however, under the impact of time, an energy surplus diet, and chronic stress, the arterial walls begin to undergo fibrosis. Plaques containing bad cholesterol appear, narrowing the diameter of the vessels and stripping away their elasticity. This directly drives blood pressure upward and transforms the circulatory system into a ticking time bomb that can detonate at any moment in the form of a stroke or a myocardial infarction. The third storm is the natural loss of muscle mass, known medically as sarcopenia, combined with the loss of bone mineral density. After the age of 40, the human body loses approximately 8% of its muscle mass every decade, and this rate accelerates at a dizzying pace once you hit the threshold of 50. Decreased muscle mass means that the joints lose their sheltering and supportive system, forcing the entire skeleton to bear direct pressure, which leads to degeneration, pain, and osteoporosis. These three silent storms take place quietly, without noise or warning. If we maintain the complacent mindset of our 20s or 30s, our body will undoubtedly pay an extremely heavy price. To help you visualize the destruction of these three silent storms if we remain indifferent, I would like to share three real stories of three hypothetical characters living in different states across America. These are the truest reflections of the health mindsets found among 50-year-olds. Let us look at the story of Robert, 52 years old, a veteran mechanical engineer living in a small town in a sunny southern state called Sun River. In his youth, Robert was the epitome of physical health. He could work 12 hours a day in his machine shop manually, repair massive pieces of equipment, join weekend football games, and drink an entire case of beer with friends while still waking up alert for work the next morning. Robert always proudly told his wife that he had never had to take a single antibiotic pill in his life, and that hospitals were places meant for the weak. Upon passing his 51st birthday, Robert began to feel dull headaches appearing in the morning just as he woke up, and occasionally felt his chest tighten, his heart racing rapidly when he had to carry a heavy component up to the shop's second floor. However, with his inherent confidence in his health, Robert merely assumed it was due to work pressure or sleepless nights caused by the sweltering summer weather in Sun River. He resolutely refused to see a doctor because of a very common psychological fear, the dread that entering a hospital would lead to physicians fabricating a mountain of illnesses and forcing him to take medication for the rest of his life. Robert continued to maintain his Southern-style diet, high in fatty grilled ribs, French fries, smoked a pack of cigarettes a day, and drank 3 to 4 cans of beer every evening to relieve stress. On a freezing winter morning a year later, when the temperature in Sun River dropped suddenly, Robert woke up feeling lightheaded, but still stepped into the bathroom to prepare for work. The moment the cold water touched his body, Robert abruptly collapsed onto the floor, one side of his face drooping and his right arm losing all sensation. He had suffered an acute ischemic stroke. Fortunately, his wife discovered him in time and called an ambulance to rush him to the medical center within the golden hour. Robert survived, but the price he had to pay was incredibly steep. He was left paralyzed on the right side of his body, lost his ability to speak for several months, and had to undergo a painful, expensive physical therapy journey at a rehabilitation center just to take halting steps with a cane. From a healthcare expert's perspective, why did a man with such an excellent physical foundation like Robert fall ill so quickly and severely? Robert's greatest and most fatal mistake was that he fell into the trap of using his past health to guarantee his present status. At 18, 20, or even 35, the human body possesses a powerful biological compensatory capacity. When you overload your body with fat, smoke cigarettes, or drink alcohol, your liver, kidneys, and vascular system work at triple or quadruple capacity to clear out toxins, keeping your blood pressure and blood sugar levels stable. You feel healthy, but that health is actually built on exhausting the vital reserves of your internal organs. By the age of 50, this biological compensatory mechanism completely collapses due to natural aging. High blood pressure is dubbed the silent killer in medicine because it progresses entirely without noise. The blood vessels are under immense pressure, but it does not cause severe pain to warn you. It merely manifests as mild morning headaches, exactly like Robert's case. Robert's continued smoking released nicotine that constricted blood vessels that were already rigid. Meanwhile, his diet, rich in saturated fat from grilled ribs, increased bad cholesterol in his blood, creating unstable atherosclerotic plaques within the arterial walls. When exposed to the sudden cold weather of the Sun River winter, the blood vessels constricted sharply, causing these plaques to rupture and form a blood clot that traveled to the brain, completely blocking the blood flow to the brain tissue and leading to immediate neuronal necrosis. The costly lesson from Robert's story for all men entering their 50s is that first you must completely eradicate the mindset of fearing checkups out of dread of finding an illness. A disease in your body is like a hidden, smoldering fire. Turning a blind eye does not make the fire go out. It only gives it more time to incinerate the entire building. Regular comprehensive health checkups every 6 months starting from age 50 are mandatory without exception. Second, you must strictly control the 4 vital markers of your metabolic system: systolic and diastolic blood pressure, fasting blood sugar, total lipid profile including LDL cholesterol and triglycerides, and finally, uric acid levels. Third, learn to listen to your body. Any unusual sign, no matter how minor, such as a fleeting numbness in your fingertips, a sudden bout of dizziness when changing posture, or a tightening in your chest when climbing stairs, is an emergency distress signal your body is sending you. Consult a doctor immediately before the ticking time bomb detonates on its own. Now let us move to a cold northern state called Frostland to listen to the story of Mary, 51 years old, a female literature teacher at a local high school. In the eyes of her colleagues, students, and family, Mary was always the embodiment of gentleness and courtesy, a warm-hearted woman who knew how to listen and had never raised her voice at anyone. She was even the one who kept the home fire burning, meticulously preparing perfect meals for her husband and 2 children. However, right after passing the milestone of 50, Mary's life seemed completely upended by an invisible force. Mary began to experience horrific hot flashes. It was a sensation of a sudden scorching wave of heat originating from her chest, rushing straight up her neck to her face, leaving her skin flushed red and her sweat drenching her. Even though it was snowing outside in Frostland, and the indoor heating was kept at a moderate level, these hot flashes appeared frequently at night, waking Mary 3 to 4 times, leaving her pillowcases and bedding soaked. This chronic insomnia, which lasted for 6 months, transformed Mary into a completely different person. From a gentle woman, she became highly sensitive and easily angered over nothing. She would yell at her husband just because he forgot to put a glass cup back in the cupboard, or weep uncontrollably in her office because she felt her children had grown up and no longer needed her existence. Mary shared through tears that she felt she was losing her rational control, feeling that she had become old, unattractive, incompetent, and stripped of any value in this life. It did not stop there. Mary's body began to develop aching pains throughout her joints, particularly in her knees and lumbar spine, making each step feel as heavy as if she were wearing stones. She fell into a mild depression and began to isolate herself in a dark room, turning down all invitations to meet with friends. Mary's case is a classic and heartbreaking example of severe perimenopause and menopause syndrome in 50-year-old women. The first thing I want to state to clear Mary and millions of other women of blame is this: their irritability, melancholy, or unprovoked tears are absolutely not because they have changed for the worse, nor because they are selfish or difficult. It is entirely the consequence of a massive chemical crisis occurring within the brain due to the decline of hormones. When a woman enters her 50s, her ovaries decline in function and then stop working entirely, causing the concentration of estrogen in the blood to drop by 80%. Estrogen plays a paramount role in regulating the hypothalamus of the brain, which is likened to the body's internal thermostat. When estrogen is deficient, this thermostat's signals become haywire, sending out false alarms that trick the body into believing it is burning up, resulting in hot flashes and profuse sweating to cool down. Concurrently, estrogen acts as a direct catalyst for the body to produce serotonin and dopamine, the hormones of joy, happiness, and psychological balance. The plunge in estrogen drags these happiness hormones down to their lowest levels, causing the woman to fall into a state of emptiness, anxiety, vulnerability, and depression. Furthermore, estrogen is the transport vehicle that delivers calcium from the blood to bind to bone tissue. Without estrogen, Mary's bones lose minerals at a staggering rate of 2 to 3% per year, leading to bone porousness, osteoporosis, and severe joint pain, as the skeleton struggles to support her body weight. For women enduring the same pain as Mary, I have the following heartfelt advice. First and foremost, you must mentally liberate yourself. Understand that this is a natural physiological stage of life, and not your fault. Do not blame yourself. Openly share what you are going through with your husband and children to seek their empathy. For family members, especially husbands, your understanding, tolerance, and a warm hug during this period are worth more than 10,000 doses of tonic. Never bicker or argue about who is right and wrong when your wife is in the middle of a hot flash or crying. In terms of medical and nutritional solutions, women need to alter their diet immediately. Increase the intake of phytoestrogens, which are plant-derived estrogens found in soy extracts, tofu, and seeds like flax seeds and chia seeds. Specifically to protect the skeletal system, it is mandatory to supplement a combination of the golden trio: organic calcium, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2. Vitamin D3 is responsible for absorbing calcium from the gut into the blood, while vitamin K2 acts as a directional guide, pulling calcium from the blood and locking it directly into the bones. This prevents calcium from wandering into blood vessels, which causes vascular calcification or depositing in the kidneys to cause kidney stones. In cases where hot flashes and depression are so severe that they drastically impact quality of life, do not hesitate to see an obstetrician gynecologist to be advised on a controlled and safe hormone replacement therapy. Following this pattern of metabolic rules, let us move to our third story, the story of David, 54 years old, a supply chain manager at a large logistics company in an industrial state called Greenfield. David has a very characteristic appearance of a successful middle-aged man. He possesses a rather imposing beer belly, with a waistline close to 100 centimeters, while his upper arms and lower legs are quite slender and small. Friends and colleagues often tease David, calling it a presidential belly or a belly of wealth, and David takes immense pride in it. He believes he is not obese at all because his overall weight remains within an acceptable range. His belly is just enlarged due to his habit of drinking beer and sitting for long hours in front of a computer. Recently, David noticed some very strange signs of fatigue in his body. Around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he would feel completely exhausted, his mind foggy, unable to focus on numbers, and hit by an intense craving for sweets. He would have to drink a can of sugary soda or eat a chocolate bar to get enough energy to continue working. At the same time, he constantly felt thirsty and had to urinate multiple times throughout the night. During a company-wide comprehensive health screening to update a new insurance policy, David was utterly flabbergasted when he held his test results. His fasting blood sugar level was 7.8 millimoles per liter. The doctor diagnosed him with type 2 diabetes. It did not end there. His blood triglyceride level was 3 times higher than normal, accompanied by grade 3 fatty liver disease. David was completely bewildered and argued with the doctor, saying that he did not even like eating sweets, so how could he possibly have diabetes? And his belly was just a beer belly from drinking with clients on weekends. So what did it have to do with liver fat and blood sugar levels? From an advanced medical standpoint, David is a textbook victim of a highly prevalent condition among 50-year-olds, metabolic syndrome. David's biggest mistake lay in his complete blindness to the danger of visceral fat. David's large beer belly is not merely a soft layer of subcutaneous fat that can be pinched with your fingers. It is a massive accumulation of visceral fat, the most dangerous type of fat inside the human body. Visceral fat accumulates by weaving through and enveloping vital organs, such as the liver, kidneys, heart, and pancreas. This type of fat does not just sit idly. It functions as a toxic endocrine gland, continuously secreting systemic inflammatory substances and releasing large amounts of free fatty acids into the blood, which travels straight to the liver, causing David's grade 3 fatty liver condition. It was precisely this flood of visceral fat that triggered insulin resistance in David's body. Imagine insulin as a master key secreted by the pancreas to unlock the doors of your cells, allowing glucose in the blood to enter and be converted into energy to sustain the body. When visceral fat is excessive, the locks on the cells become rusted and jammed, a phenomenon called insulin resistance. At this point, no matter how hard the pancreas works to churn out insulin keys, the cell doors remain locked. Glucose cannot enter the cells, leaving them starved of energy, which makes David feel drained in the afternoon and crave sweets to salvage his energy. Meanwhile, the unconsumed glucose accumulates in high concentrations within the bloodstream, flowing through the kidneys and drawing water with it, causing chronic thirst, frequent urination, and directly damaging small blood vessels, leading to type 2 diabetes. The phenomenon of slender limbs, combined with a large belly in David, is a terrible state of metabolic aging, where muscle mass withers from a lack of exercise while toxic fat spikes. The revolutionary advice for David and those possessing a beer belly at 50 is that first you must completely overhaul how you measure your health. At 50, the weight on the scale is no longer the deciding factor. Your waist circumference is the true mirror, reflecting your life expectancy. Grab a tape measure and check your abdomen today. The golden health standard for 50-year-olds is that a man's waistline must be under 90 centimeters, and a woman's must be under 35 inches, equivalent to 85 centimeters. If you exceed these numbers, you are stepping 1 foot through the doorway of diabetes and heart disease. Second, you must implement a strict nutritional strategy aimed at cutting out all refined carbohydrates. Immediately eliminate white rice, white bread, instant noodles, sugary sodas, and boxed fruit juices from your daily menu. Replace them with complex carbohydrates, also known as slow-releasing carbohydrates, such as brown rice, boiled sweet potatoes, and whole grain oats. These starches contain abundant fiber, which helps glucose release into the blood, gradually preventing blood sugar spikes and easing the burden on the pancreas. Third, initiate a structured regimen of resistance exercises. Gentle walking is simply not enough to combat severe insulin resistance like David's. You need to perform muscle-building exercises such as chair squats, standing up and sitting down on a fixed chair, working with resistance bands, or lifting light weights suited to your capability. Muscle mass is the body's largest warehouse for consuming glucose. The more healthy muscle mass you possess, the more sensitive your body becomes to insulin, lubricating the cell locks, thereby reversing insulin resistance and helping control diabetes naturally without relying excessively on medication. Through the real-world stories of Robert, Mary, and David, we can see that health at 50 is not a game of chance. It is an architectural masterpiece constructed upon your own understanding and self-discipline. To step through your 50s with your head held high, maintaining a resilient body, a sharp mind, and ensuring you do not become a burden to your children or dependent on a hospital bed, you must establish and strictly adhere to a lifestyle system built upon 4 golden pillars. The first pillar is wise nutrition. Change your mindset from eating to satisfy your palate to eating to nourish life. A 50-year-old body no longer possesses the ability to tolerate and eliminate toxic substances as effectively as it did in its 20s. Apply the golden plate rule to every single meal. Half of your plate must consist of fresh green vegetables, tubers, and low-sugar fruits such as broccoli, spinach, blueberries, and avocados to provide maximum soluble fiber, vitamins, and potent antioxidants. Soluble fiber acts like a biological broom, sweeping away bad cholesterol in the digestive tract. Before it can be absorbed into the bloodstream, 1/4 of the plate should be high-quality protein, prioritizing easily digestible sources like deep-sea fish, rich in omega-3 chicken breast eggs, and plant-based proteins from soybeans and lentils. Drastically reduce red meats like beef and pork because they contain high levels of saturated fat, which increases the risk of colorectal cancer and vascular sclerosis in middle age. The final 1/4 of the plate is reserved for the slow-releasing carbohydrates I mentioned earlier. Remember the golden rule: reduce sodium and cut back on sugar. Your total daily salt intake must not exceed 5 grams, equivalent to a single teaspoon, to protect blood vessels from the risk of hypertension. The second pillar is smart movement. Never use age as an excuse to be lazy. Your joints and muscles are like a door hinge. If you do not move them, they will rust, wither, and stiffen over time. Apply the exercise formula of 150 minutes per week divided across at least 5 days at 30 minutes per day. The perfect workout regimen at 50 is a balanced combination of 2 types of exercise. The first type is moderate intensity cardio, such as brisk walking, cycling, or swimming to train myocardial endurance and increase lung capacity. The standard for brisk walking is that you can still converse with the person next to you, but you cannot sing while walking. The second type consists of exercises that train balance and core strength, such as yoga, tai chi, or light resistance training. Tai Chi and yoga are exceptionally beneficial for 50-year-olds because they train the autonomic nervous system, enhance ligament flexibility, and provide excellent balance, thereby completely preventing the risk of falls, a leading cause of femoral neck fractures and traumatic brain injuries in older adults. The third pillar is quality sleep and a psychological mindset of letting go. Many people mistakenly believe that as they age, they naturally sleep less, and that getting 4 to 5 hours of sleep per night is a normal phenomenon of growing older. This is a completely erroneous and hazardous misconception from the perspective of brain science. A 50-year-old still requires 6 to 7 hours of high-quality deep sleep each night. It is only when you enter deep sleep that your brain's waste clearance system, known as the glymphatic system, activates fully. It acts like a sanitation crew, sweeping away toxic proteins like beta amyloid that accumulate in the brain over a long day. Medical studies have proven that if you suffer from chronic insomnia or insufficient sleep in your 50s, your risk of developing Alzheimer's disease and dementia in old age doubles. To secure a good night's rest, practice strict sleep hygiene. Absolutely no tea, coffee, or stimulants after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Turn off all electronic devices like smartphones, tablets, or televisions at least 1 hour before bed. The blue light emitted from these screens possesses a wavelength that tricks the brain into thinking it is still daylight, completely halting the secretion of melatonin, the hormone responsible for easing the body into a natural sleep. Instead, form a habit of soaking your feet in warm water 15 minutes before bed to stimulate acupoints, drawing blood circulation down to your feet, cooling the brain and helping you drift off more smoothly. Alongside sleep, cultivate a mindset of letting go, reducing unnecessary worries about your children or societal pressures. Chronic stress triggers the body to release the hormone cortisol, a direct enemy that spikes blood sugar, destroys muscle tissue, and constricts your blood vessels. The fourth pillar is proactive medical management. Do not wait until you are thirsty to dig a well. Do not wait until your body falls ill to frantically search for a doctor. At 50, you must possess a personal proactive medical management logbook. The first step is to perform regular gender-specific cancer screenings. Women require periodic mammograms to screen for breast cancer and pap smears to screen for cervical cancer. Men need regular blood tests for PSA levels to detect prostate cancer early. Both genders must undergo a colonoscopy every 5 years to screen for colorectal cancer, as well as the liver and lung cancer screenings if there is a long-term history of smoking or alcohol consumption. The second step is to attend to your gradually weakening immune system by staying up to date on vaccines for older adults. Visit a medical center to receive your annual flu shot, the pneumococcal vaccine to prevent acute pneumonia, and the shingles vaccine. which prevents a disease that causes agonizing nerve pain for middle-aged individuals. The third step is to equip your home with a smart medicine cabinet containing a digital upper arm blood pressure monitor and a personal blood glucose meter. Measure your blood pressure at a fixed hour every day, logging it in a notebook to master your body's baseline trends, providing your doctor with the most accurate data possible for a diagnosis. My friends, there is an ancient and profoundly wise adage. The best time to plant a tree that provides green shade was 20 years ago, and the second best time is right now at this very moment. If during the youthful years of your 30s or 40s, you happen to neglect your body, staying up all night due to the pressure of making a living, forcing your system to tolerate liters of alcohol during dense networking dinners, or living a sedentary lifestyle because you were simply too busy, then 50 is your second chance, and I want to emphasize it may be your final opportunity to correct your wrongs with your own body. Our body is an incredibly forgiving biological machine. The moment you begin to love and care for it correctly today, it will heal and recover miraculously to serve you for the next 30 or 40 years of your life. Health at 50 is not a gift dropped from the sky, nor does it arrive by mere luck. It is the sweet result of self-discipline, a wise lifestyle, and a deep, profound love for yourself. Living healthily at 50 is not just about keeping your own body free from physical pain or avoiding a cold hospital bed. It is also the greatest gift and the highest responsibility you can offer to your beloved children. When you are healthy and self-sufficient, your children can fully enjoy peace of mind, venturing out into society with confidence to build their own dreams and careers. Begin this journey of creating the second dawn of your life today. Right after closing this, share with the most practical and small actions. Replace the bowl of white rice in your dinner tonight with a fragrant bowl of brown rice. Put on your shoes and walk for an extra 10 minutes around your neighborhood. Turn off your smartphone 30 minutes earlier tonight to sink into a deep sleep. And pick up the phone, call your nearest medical center to schedule a proactive, comprehensive health checkup for this weekend. At 50, let our hair turn gray or white with time, but keep your heart bursting with vitality, your spirit serene, and your body ever resilient and upright, standing tall like a great tree against all the storms of life. Thank you all so much for taking the time to listen to this entire message. I wish every one of you golden health, a life overflowing with joy, and a peaceful, tranquil mindset as you enter this fresh chapter of your existence.